Real quick, before we start this podcast episode, I just want to say thank you for tuning into the Marc Colcer podcast. I know you've got a million things that you could be doing right now, and the fact that you're taking time out of your day to watch this podcast episode truly means the world to me, and I just want to say thank you for that. If you'd like to continue to support the podcast, right below this video, if you could hit the subscribe button, and then, hey, if you got some more time and you want to hit the download button, the comment button, the like button, the share button, any of those buttons, it's greatly, greatly appreciated. It helps for other people to find out about the podcast, and it helps for you to be notified about future episodes. So if you guys could take a quick second, hit the subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. Outside of that, this episode and every other episode is brought to you guys by Roast Umber Coffee. As some of you guys know, I co-founded Roast Umber Coffee, and we have the greatest farmers in Guatemala and Honduras and the greatest roaster in Grand Rapids, Michigan, all to bring you guys the greatest cup of coffee possible. So if you'd like to try it out, go to our website, use the coupon code MARC30, and you're going to get 30% off your coffee. Now on to the episode. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Welcome to the Marc Colcer podcast. How's it going, Anna? Welcome to the Marc Colcer podcast. How's your day going?
Can't complain, Mark. How was your day?
Not too bad, not too bad. This week is already starting off better than last week, so it's hard to get worse than last week. So, yeah, I have high expectations for this week. So we're gonna.
You just jinxed it, Mark. You just jinxed it.
Wait, knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood. There we go. We're just fine. We're just fine.
That's the Armenian in you, like being superstitious.
There we go. Is it really a thing?
Being from Ukraine, 100%.
Because I am very superstitious. Like if I have a bad day, like let's say this is actually, I've never publicly admitted to this, but whatever. If I have a bad day gambling and I'm wearing like a certain shirt, like this shirt, I'll immediately take it off and wash it. And I'm like, it's got bad juju to it, and I just need to wash it. So, yeah, I'm very superstitious. So
Same. And it's a neurosis that like gets passed on by like the mothers, the grandmothers. You don't even want to know what crazy shit like Ukrainians do. Especially when it comes to like jealousy and like jinxing, all of that. And when it comes to like also really weird shit, like for example, if you leave the house and you forgot something, you really have to like look into a mirror. Otherwise it's going to be like a bad day.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got to try that out.
For example.
All right. So to start off, can you tell everyone a little bit about you?
Sure. I am the founder of Outcast Academy, an entertainment project on the Solana blockchain. Originally from Germany, immigrated to the US 2.5 years ago together with my husband and co-founder. So we are a co-founder couple. Raised venture capital for the company, which is called Forefront Media. We've been around a little bit longer than Outcast Academy, and before that had success in the entertainment field in Web 2, specifically on TikTok. That was our main bread and butter.
There we go. So, let's talk about that. So you have a pretty extensive background. Can you pronounce your husband's name real quick? I just want to make sure I don't mess it up.
Elon.
Okay, so just like Elon Musk, but spelled differently?
Yeah.
There we go. Very different Elon. But, the background that both of you guys have is super, super diverse. You guys have done a ton. So let's talk about that. Can you explain a little bit more of your guys' background, what you guys have done before all of this? You sent me some of the, like, this interactive video link that Elon had done a few years ago. That was super, super cool. We'll put that in the description for this video. But yeah, tell me a little bit more about your background before getting into NFTs.
My background is in journalism, marketing, and business. In Germany, I was a writer for Vice. I was a writer for a couple like international, national outlets since the age of 16. And that was like really cool for me. But I realized I'm a really sucky journalist because I am not always interested in like the factual like truth. I'm more interested in stretching it and making it like more interesting and making like it really a story that is worth reading. So Vice was perfect for that. And yeah, when I started to study business, I was thrown into, with my entrepreneurial I don't know, I guess always vision or always got drawn to starting my own business. I got thrown into being the CEO of a small project that turned into a full-time startup that we exited in my first semester, which was an experience I was after that I was like, this is the last time I'm starting my own company because I got really old like really quick. But of course, like history shows that definitely was not the last company. And when I met Elon after starting to work for a VC in Berlin, he was at the time writing werewolf erotica for immersive stories that really went viral. Like one of his stories made $1 million in 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Werewolf erotica?
Yes. Can you imagine how our date went? Like the first date, like he telling me this and like me still going like on a second date.
So how soon after that first date did you actually go and read the werewolf erotica?
Before the first date.
Okay.
I researched this guy through all the social media I had. Because a guy coming to Berlin, like from Hollywood, like claiming he's from Hollywood, like you have to be a little suspicious. But what I realized is that I have somebody on here who is as megalomaniac, as ambitious, if not even more than I am, who is ready to experiment and to take the world like by storm and not be afraid by, any pushback, and just like breaking a couple eggs while doing omelets. And we decided to, after him spending a lot of time in the startup world, and me being basically like in the back end with VCs, seeing which startups get funded and how to, how to do the business like on the back end, we decided to co-found together. And that was 2019, raised around after 1 year of bootstrapping. And that was the rest is history.
There we go. And so how did you guys come into the magical world of NFTs after that? And why is it not a werewolf erotica NFT project?
Right?
That would be super interesting.
It's such an interesting niche.
It is. I didn't know it was a niche until now. So,
Women between the ages of like 16 to 25 are willing to pay a lot in microtransactions to read werewolf erotica, especially in countries where porn is not, where it's prohibited.
Well, yeah.
It's the next best thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You may have to send me one of those stories. I'm genuinely very curious.
Oh my God. I think I was also admiring that Elon as a writer, you can get trapped in writing very like self-indulgent stuff and like writing for yourself mostly and like writing only something that you are interested in. But I think we both were always mainstream oriented and very much like commercially oriented. So we were able to, and that's one of our core beliefs at the company, we don't have to necessarily like our content and we don't have to be like the biggest bingers of it. If there's a market for it that really demands it and wants it, then who are we to judge?
Yeah, that's facts. There's truly a market for everything, which is, I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned through like the NFT journey is that there's truly a market for everything. You just have to find the people that are looking for what you're trying to provide. And so with that, how did you guys go from, meeting up, obviously dating and everything like that, to you guys started your own business together, to now you guys have started an NFT project together. But how did you guys get into NFTs to begin with?
We started 1.5 years ago by getting rugged on NFTs.
Hey, there we go. That is the best way to get started.
Yes. So we started in the ETH space, and it was Elon who started to look into entertainment projects like Loot, for example, like back in the ETH days. So it was interesting for us when we started to see on TikTok, after we built our first fictional character universe, and it grew to like 500 million views, and like we were about to raise a second round on it. We started to see more and more that ultimately creating a business on top of a platform like TikTok is not going to create like the margins that we need to create, because ultimately it benefits the platform, like the views, the likes, everything benefits the platform the most. So we started to look at alternatives, and what attracted us to Web3 and what attracted us to NFTs is the promise that now a community is, you're rewarding your fans for now profiting and now being a part of a growing IP universe, and co-creating that IP universe is, that was a promise to us that was really interesting and we wanted to experiment with. At the time, there was a huge like bull market. Solana was at $250. That's the time we bought in, of course.
Same.
It's easy to buy during a bull, right? And easy to get like super excited. And we just saw that the communities are really, really so strong and like so so optimistic. Like we were looking for an optimistic space that would welcome a new idea and has a gap in the entertainment space, and we can bring characters to it. We haven't seen a lot of like characters that are really like, interacting in space, and that was what our expertise was in. So started to invest, started to be in Discords a lot, and after a couple of months doing our research, being like deeply into it, we pivoted the company, and ultimately it was a faster raise and a way easier like venture raise than if we would have pursued like just growing and more views on TikTok and growing and just like trying to beat the ever-changing algorithm that is just like fucking over creators more and more. So for us, it was the right decision.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I think, I think with everybody, you have to kind of figure out like where, especially when it comes to socials, like what you want to do with it. And like, TikTok is one where I feel like a lot of times, they can funnel a lot of views towards your channel, but then they can also take them away just as quickly.
Yep.
And so it's a very, very frustrating place to do business. And so I think you guys made the right decision from kind of leaving TikTok and more focusing on the Twitter world and the NFT world in general. But so I guess, how did the original idea for Outcast Academy come to be from that?
The content we created on TikTok is very, I would say, we were always about the drama, so very similar in nature. Like the content we created on TikTok that was most popular and had like really the mass appeal that brought people over to not only watch us on TikTok, but wanting to talk to the characters and like having Zoom meetings with them, having like Zoom events and like Clubhouse events when that was a thing. Yeah. Those were the stories that were very archetypical and very like simple and clean and very high school in nature. And so we took that premise, what we are good at, and just decided to double down on that. Ultimately also, high school and like the high school drama that we are creating and the energy we're bringing in is also kind of like, you can see it as a big metaphor for like Solana itself. Like we are still growing up. Like the drama we have every day, like that we witness in spaces, is very much like high school. So it kind of makes sense for us.
Yeah, no, it really is. We were talking about this before we started the podcast, but there is definitely a big difference between kind of the ETH space, the Solana space, and each one has their pros and cons. But so I'm not saying one is better nor the other, but there's a different approach you have to have with both. When I'm talking to somebody on ETH, when I'm talking to somebody on Solana, there can be a different vibe to the conversation sometimes.
100%.
Yeah, and there's sometimes a difference in the amount of experience that they have in the crypto space and things like that. And so, yeah, it's definitely a very, very interesting, space to begin with. But so I want to talk more about the drama for a second. So I know drama is a big part of Outcast Academy. And so I wanted to kind of hear what your thoughts are. Like, what is drama to you? And like, can drama borderline sometimes on the aspect of it being too toxic? And like, how do you view drama in the overall space? Because, okay, the last week or so, for people who are watching this, it's what, November, I don't even know what today's date is. 14th? 14th.
Yeah.
November 14th. So everything with FTX happened basically last week. And so there was a lot of drama, right? We got Elon Musk in spaces. We got Elon Musk firing employees on Twitter. We got Sam Bankman-Fried just tweeting out random letters that nobody knows what it means. Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, we will know what it means. But like, there's a lot of drama going on Twitter right now. And so, yeah, what do you view as like the role of drama in the space? Can it be toxic at times? Can it be beneficial at times? I'm just curious of your overall thoughts on drama.
Before we talk about like, is it toxic or not, like drama as a token, how we created it, like is, first of all, it's a utility token that can be earned right now through, classic staking, but more interesting through entertain to earn, like through an ecosystem in which you shitpost, you create memes, you create drama on Twitter Spaces, you create interesting threads, you earn drama. So it's the very first time that creators are rewarded on crypto Twitter. And that is a premise to us that was and still is worth exploring and worth, just creating a token that does that. We also believe that, and we see that giving the token to also non-Solana people and to Ethereum and like VC Twitter, like any type of creator, also beyond Twitter, is the fastest possible way for us to onboard new holders and new liquidity into our project and into the ecosystem. Like to earn something for like a creation of yours, like a meme that you never have earned anything for, it is hella fun. So first of all, like the token is just like hella fun for people to like receive. It's also a fun way to show like each other like respect, like, oh, I love your tweet, like here you have like 100 drama. So we see our holders sending it like to each other, and also to like bigger creators. And connecting that token to a utility that is also like inherently fun to like turn your token into was always the goal. So the next step for drama, you know, now that we create a system like how to earn it, which is like entertain us to earn the drama token, the next step is to create more utilities where your shitpost now can be turned into an actual blockbuster. And that is basically the part 2. So like now, like shitpost to earn to shitpost.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm curious about that. So I want to go a little bit further into, I guess, like what was your initial marketing strategy for Outcast Academy? Because just to make sure I have it all right. So the initial thought process about Outcast Academy was, let's make this project where we can essentially onboard people by, they don't even have to be necessarily in our ecosystem. Like somebody posts a funny meme or whatever, all of a sudden we send you a drama token on Twitter. And so there's inherently kind of like the, well, what the fuck did I just receive aspect of this project, right?
And we want that.
There we go. So you and I definitely noticed that, especially at the beginning of when I first saw you guys kind of on Twitter and whatnot. It was like, there was this whole idea of like, I saw people tagging, you know, in the drama reward and like wanting to know, is this person going to get drama token for this and everything like that. And so what was the initial strategy in the sense of like, okay, we want to bring these people into the ecosystem, but then how do you take those people and I guess like truly onboard them from there, right? Because I feel like sometimes the hard part about Twitter is that there's so much going on at one time that it's hard to always know like what is the benefit of this or what is the benefit of this, and some things are a little bit more cryptic than others, and so it's sometimes really hard to completely understand like what is the goal of this, right? So when you guys kind of go over what was your initial marketing strategy, and then and start with in real life, because I know you guys had some different like activations you guys were doing. Like you guys had like a toilet paper activation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so talk about your in real life activations and then going into like your Twitter activations and what was the end goal of all of those?
Sure. So when we started, like the very first time we tested the hypothesis, like is high school theme, is an entertainment project on Solana even like worth pivoting into? Like I would never pivot before I don't create like an MVP that I validate. So why not have fun with an MVP? So we went to Solana Miami. That was, I think, in April or so, or March. And we hired 2 actresses that we gave high school uniforms, and they had a full script, and they basically like were, like infiltrating Solana Miami, like going up to really nerdy devs and like starting to role play with them. And that was one thing we did. We exchanged the toilet papers with our branded toilet paper that has just like a huge like QR code on them that said shill, shit, shit and shill, something like that. So you could not escape us at Solana Miami. NFT NYC, we hired more actors that created like bigger stunts because we knew like this is like really a chance for more exposure, and also again to get our high school brand out there and create more drama. That was even before the token was created. We like this one guy, like we hired, he had a full proposal going on. He asked a girl out to like go to prom with him. It had like a boombox and like roses and like, you know, balloons, and a lot of the NFT NYC people like stood around that, and like 100 people were standing around like clapping, you know, and like really were excited. And then she rejected him in front of 100 people.
And that was 2 actors doing that?
And that was 2 actors
That's
of
amazing.
ours doing that. And, you know, that was a whole Outcast Academy stunt. So we are having like fun IRL like as well. And for digital, Our strategy was that our content.
Wait, before we get into digital, so the overall strategy of those activations at that time? Because you said the first one was in April at Solana Miami, and then there was the next one in New York, which is in June, and then you guys minted in what was that? August, September?
September, yeah.
September. Okay, so the whole point of those activations basically was to get people intrigued by the project. So I'm guessing like what was the toilet paper? If somebody scanned that back then, and I'll put a photo of that so people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like, what did that lead to?
I think back then it led to our Twitter page in which you immediately saw the high quality content that we were producing. So at the time when we started the project, we had a very different way of engaging our community. So we were building community. We were always, let's build a community first and then mint. Okay. Like as soon as we hit 1,000 people that are, in the end, it was, we had like a benchmark of 10,000 followers that we want to hit before we mint. We want to hit like a certain amount of Discord participation. What we offered as a utility before mint was twofold. A, high quality content, so like videos that really entertained you, of our teachers, of our Moody principal limerick, that asked you to do stuff, to like fuck around, pull pranks on Solana and just like have fun with it. And the second utility was you went into our Discord and all of these teachers, the janitor, that is like also, again, like a very rude motherfucker. These are all characters that you see on Discord and you can interact with. And people love that part that they can now, like, again, like role play. But we noticed that the premise of we are just like coming to space and it's about co-creation. It's about like, what should we do next week? Like giving people the choice of just like lore creation is not big enough, ambitious enough, and it is ultimately not everybody's like a good storyteller, and not everybody's interested in the NFT space in like creating stories. They are more interested in like something like shitposting. So ultimately, we realized that it's not role playing, it's not just storytelling and just like lore creation that is going to set us apart from other projects, but it is to basically double down on a behavior that we see already our users doing, which is shitposting, which is meme creation, which is like interesting threads, which is Twitter Spaces, and reward that behavior instead of enforcing something that, you know, us film nerds and USC folks that, you know, our company consists of, like, loves to do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so, okay, so let's talk about, like, in terms of, you said you wanted to wait until you minted, until you guys had created this community. I guess, like, so, you know, one of the questions I had for you was that I feel like it's when you, with the premise that you guys have, I think one of the interesting dynamics is I think there's a way that somebody can almost end up loving the drama without necessarily loving the project. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, is there like an addiction then where, like, if I create this meme, it leads to this drama token, and like there's inherently like a endorphin release you get when you get the tweet of like, I got some drama token for that, right? But is that enough to get that person to actually therefore look into the project from there? And that's the part that I think is the more interesting dilemma of, like, does that lead to community being created, or does it lead to people being like, oh shit, I got this reward token, I don't necessarily even know what I can use it for, but, like, you know, I just like the fact that I'm receiving something for this meme. And so how do you convert those people from somebody who's like, you know, maybe they're a really, really good shit poster, but how do you get that person to actually look into, like, Outcast Academy, what it's all about, where the project is going, and everything like that?
Amazing question. No, I'll just, yeah. I believe it is on us as founders to create utilities that are not self-indulgent only for holders. So somebody who is not a holder can still have fun with the utility, just having enough drama token. So you can hook somebody on having enough drama token using the utility because it's like hella fun for them, or because it, like, you know, has financial benefit with whatever it's actually super interesting how much people are trading drama, not intended by us. Like, you know, it's a utility token. We don't assign any value to it. One drama is one drama. So it is on us to create like these utilities that are universally understood and like context free. And the reason why we even got like venture capital in the first place was not because we pitched them like a cool interactive project and like we're going to be the first ones and no shame in that. We pitched them that we are going to be uniquely suited as people who consistently went viral on multiple platforms, who had first hacked Wattpad, as I told you with the werewolf porn, then hacked virality on TikTok, hacking virality on Twitter, and bringing, bridging, I'm going to say it, like bridging Web 2 with Web 3 and bringing actually like the mainstream appeal to crypto, because in the end, like entertainment is universal. That was the premise that we pitched on. So the utility that we are going to release very soon is specifically created so that holders are having the biggest benefit. So like there is a benefit of being a holder, but if you just have enough drama, you can very much like partake in it, and it is like fun and beneficial for like both groups. And that's how we believe like we ultimately are converting like more holders. And yeah, the bigger the IP universe like grows, the ones who are ultimately, like profiting off of that and like co-created all of that are the holders. So it very much like makes sense to be a part of that. And currently, like with Sol being at the price that it is, the buy-in price is very like achievable.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's one of the great parts about like where we're at right now in this space, is that there's a lot of people who are going to bag hold during times like this and really figure out which projects they're super, super bullish on, and they're going to stack them up. And then when the next bull comes, those people are going to do really well. Not financial advice, but if you're super bullish on something, like that logic makes sense, right? And so with that, I think it's a really interesting premise what you guys are doing, and it's definitely something that I think capturing social relevance is a really difficult thing to achieve, and like you guys definitely did that in terms of like, especially before mint, like people kind of just wondering like what's going on. I'm getting this token, I don't know what's 100% what it's being used for and whatnot, but I have this token and I'm getting it from just kind of basically being funny on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And so I want to go a little bit further into that from there. So what was mint like for you guys? Because I know you guys had some kind of some things.
Shit show.
Yeah. Hey, that's crypto in general, right? But yeah, so tell me a little bit more about mint, kind of what went down with that.
I think any project that minted after, I don't know, like September, August, like so many good projects have experienced like what we experienced, which is just like slow mints or, acts of God, you can call it, really messing things up. So for us, sure, the minute we started minting, like Solana TPS went down to such an extent that we were like talking to Magic Eden at the same time, like what's going on? Like why is nothing moving? Like nobody can buy. Like the good thing was nobody could also list. So that was like great for like 2 hours. Yeah, I mean it was not what we expected it to be. We after a certain amount of NFTs being minted, and after the mint going on for 6 hours, and the people that minted in the beginning starting to list underpriced, like the whole thing like spiraling out of the norm, we decided to stick by our guns, which is always to prioritize holders first and the community first, which led us to the decision to stop the mint and get the rest airdropped to a 2-to-1 proportion to our holders. Basically of like, thanking them for the trust, rewarding them for the trust, and for like repressing that button, like mint again and again and again, and like not giving up on us. And the people that like believed in the vision, regardless of, the FUD and the Solana outage and, wallets not being recognized, do not regret that decision. Honestly, also observing other projects like that are incredible, like either animators, like there's a couple examples that minted after us, which I'm like so surprised they didn't mint out. What this showed to me is that a slow mint is not the death of a project. And for us, that also, we were in a privileged position to be venture backed. So we were like, fuck it, we ball. Like we are going to execute on our utility regardless of how this went. The holders that we have now are holders, and we're going to work on increasing the holder count. And that's what we did since then.
Yeah, I almost look at Mint as like, Mint is actually something where it doesn't tell me a ton about a project in terms of like where it's going to go, because I feel like there's so many stories of like D-Gods, the first few weeks after Mint were an absolute disaster. Then you have projects like Trippin' Apes where they had a ton of momentum that was absolutely impossible to maintain the like kind of the FOMO buying in and things like that. And so their floor price shot to 80 and then fell drastically down after that. And like, that's not a fun position to be in, where now you've got people who bought in at 80 who are expecting the project to
go to 160.
Right. And now the project has dipped from there, and you have to figure out a way to make it, go back up to that. Right. And so I feel like with every project, Mint is something where I almost expect it to be a shit show. And then from there, I look for like, does that founder have the vision to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to capture that social relevance again? Because I look at it of like especially during a bull market, you have so many projects that are minting on a regular basis that like we talk about a project and then, maybe you're like, oh, are you minting such and such? Are you minting such and such? And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, yo, what happened to such and such? Like, I forgot about that project. Like, I got 2 of them in my bag and I forgot I even have them, right? And so I feel like with capturing social relevance where people are continually talking about your project is, I think, one of the most bullish indicators of a project doing well. But it's also by far the most difficult thing to achieve, in my opinion, because I look at it of like the Twitter world moves so damn quick that if people are talking about your project, like A, you've already won in some capacity, but B, like that's a really, really difficult thing because there's always something going on. I mean, once again, everything that just happened with FTX and whatnot, it's very difficult for an NFT project to be capturing relevance when you have that going on, because that's drastically important, right? So social relevance is a really difficult aspect of things. And so I guess like, how do you guys view that in terms of when floor price is booming? That's the easiest social relevance that you can get, because people are going to be like, oh, hey, I bought, 20 Outcast Academy at half a soul, and like now they're at 30 soul. I'm rich, right? Like that captures social relevance. But when that's not the case, which is for most projects not the case, how do you view I guess like getting back social relevance and then like increasing social relevance from there? So I guess going like after the mint, not going perfectly according to plans, what is your, how do you approach social relevance now and getting that back?
By inherently creating a product that is native to social media, that only makes sense on social media. So a token, for example, that is rewarding you for shitposting and rewarding you for, something that you see exclusively on social media and not only on Twitter, is for us a way of continuously getting new holders. But that's not enough, as we've seen in the past weeks. Just like giving out drama without, even having utilities. Like on the first day of Mint, we immediately released staking and art upgrading, right? Like our collection started with 5,000 comments, like no rarity associated whatsoever. And we only 2,500 of those could be upgraded, like only like 250 up to legendary. And it's a very addicting process. Like we sold out our legendaries pretty quickly because people like accumulated already enough drama through shitposting to have the funds, to do that. So that was a utility specifically like for holders. The next utility we're releasing is going to basically take the premise of what would happen if your meme could be a movie. Like what would happen if this drama that you earned could now be exchanged to create blockbuster like shitposts. And what that means is, all I can say is this company always experimented and had the most success when we combined entertainment, social media, and AI with each other. So for us, the strategy is to create content that is not self-indulgent only to the holders. So like we could go the route of creating, very sweet content, like that plays in a high school and has like these inside jokes that our holders understand, but like nobody else in Solana and Ethereum cares about. Or we double down on scaling content, making it, and AI plays a role in that, making it very much like live, reactive to the moment and reacting to stuff that is happening immediately like around us, and capturing that these couple of hours where some certain drama is very relevant and can be and needs commentary, needs entertaining commentary on it.
Okay, so I'm gonna speak brainstorm out loud here. So would you say that would be like, you're saying, if I'm understanding this correctly, that like taking everything going on with like FTX, if you guys put out a video next week that's like
too late.
Yeah, okay. So is there, so how soon can you make content like that?
With the new utility, it shouldn't take longer than a couple of hours.
Oh, okay. And does this involve actors, or does it involve okay. And so I guess, wow, okay. So you're saying, hypothetically speaking, like something, whatever like the next thing is that happens, and who knows, right, with all of this, let's say that whatever the next thing that happens that's super relevant, you're saying you guys will have content based around that action so quickly that everybody else is gonna be like, holy shit, like that news literally came out hours ago and you guys already have content. And then you're saying like that will be,
you need to like in today's world, like you can to stay relevant as a media house or like any content creator, if you just take the time, like make it perfect, or like take the time, like shoot on fancy cameras and like take your week, it's too late. Like you already like lost all the momentum. So it's not the first time that we pride ourselves with having like the fastest production model. Pretty crazy. When we were on TikTok, we scaled our content production to such a point that like international like press recognized it as like they called us like the fastest scaled content production, because we were able to produce we produced, I think, 2 feature lengths of like movies in 6 months, just by in like producing content like every day on a very low cost, specifically by allowing, basically using certain like hacks that we saw on TikTok, like working a lot, and actors just shooting on iPhone, and us writing scripts like really, really fast, and have pre-prepared certain scripts to such an extent that, we were able to react to stuff like within 24 hours, even on TikTok already. So for us, the idea of creating content that is reacting to news that the whole world cares about and like capitalizing on that is not new. We just now are having like additional ambitions to involve AI into all that. And it's not that further, like as far away as it like seems. It's not as futuristic as it seems. So I'm really fucking excited to like launch that utility and show how content can scale, because that is usually like the biggest pushback you get like from VCs when you talk to them, or like from anybody who invests into content business, like, oh, content doesn't scale, right? So we're gonna prove the ecosystem wrong.
So how soon are we talking about for something like that? Like when will this new utility, I guess, be available to people?
If everything goes well, we are working with by latest the end of the year. If everything doesn't go like well, so like 2 weeks later, but
okay. Yeah.
In the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. I'm excited to learn more about that. And so, okay, so from there, I guess I want to talk about what are the, so when you guys have this ecosystem that you've created, and you've got Principal Limerick, and I know you guys have some new teachers and whatnot. What is the role of teachers in the whole Outcast Academy ecosystem? And like, also, is that a difficult thing of like having people that are essentially like, people kind of look to for your project, but they're also not like, are they technically project members, or they're essentially actors that you hire, but then it feels like they're part of the project?
Good.
So yeah, how do you guys achieve that? Like, that's a very difficult thing to achieve. So what is the role of these teachers, and kind of go through that whole process? These
are actors. They're not part like of the project. They're not like founders or like with us every day. They specifically, we have them for Twitter Spaces. We have them for certain Discord activities and for production shoots, right? Like when we shoot like videos, we shoot usually like 3 months in advance. So like we do one shoot day, and we're able to like create content that lasts us for multiple months. So these characters are basically our brand ambassadors. They are there to be omnipresent in the ecosystem. They're not just faces in a video that are kind of like abstract. They're very much like three-dimensional. They're people you talk to, you interact with on Discord, on Twitter Spaces. They roast you on Twitter Spaces. With the new teacher that we have coming, she's going to be more of a health counselor who is going to listen to your problems. And that teacher, the interesting thing with that teacher was she was willed into existence by our community. Our community said, like, the current cast of teachers, we just need somebody to simp for. Like, we need a classic high school teacher that we, just like in classic high school movies, you have like one teacher that is just like classically hot. And we're like, okay, if you get together 50,000 drama, now you are studio executives. Now you made like a conscious decision, you want a new cast member, And so right now we are casting as we speak and talking to really interesting people in the ecosystem that could fill that role. But the characters, the teachers, the janitor, the principal, you can see them as brand ambassadors that are carrying our voice, that are just having on their own every time like chance to go viral, and on their own the chance to connect with like different types of people who just like dig one teacher and have like their favorites. And that's what we see like the dynamic on Discord, and just like also hella fun to have like a personality and like a character to represent your brand.
Yeah, I actually thought that was one of the coolest aspects of your guys' project when like you guys put out the videos with Principal Limerick, and I end up in a Twitter space with Principal Limerick, and I'm like, dude, I'm talking to the guy that like, and obviously I live in LA and I understand like you guys had hired actors, but I was like, man, that's super cool that the actor that's in that video is now in a Twitter space with me talking. And I was like, this is a really unique thing. And I actually recognized him from another film. And so I was like, that's actually really cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so it is, I thought that was a really cool aspect of the project. And so, yeah, I want to go into, real quick, kind of a pivot from all of this, but also bring it all full circle. So right now, obviously, we've had a huge market downturn, and so at the same time, like you guys it's not like your Mint brought in like like some of the bold projects that were bringing in millions and millions of dollars, but yet what you're doing is also an expensive thing, right? Like having these actors that you're working with on a regular basis, it can be a costly thing. So I guess. For anybody who's watching this, maybe they're a holder and they want to know, like, are you guys good financially? I don't know how else to put that, but like, are you guys good with the funds that you have to continue to grow the project, taking into consideration the cost that you have, and then also the, where the market's at right now?
Totally. Fair question. Yes. Because of the VC funding that we received during the times where VCs were very bullish to invest in Web3, and into creative projects, we managed to get around that lasts us for a good amount of time. And what we are currently building towards is creating utilities that also are alternative revenue streams. Like if anything, if the whole royalty situation as it is in Solana, and the pressure of projects to like go to 0% royalties and like that not being enforceable anymore, forced every project to like look into alternative revenue streams. Like you can't rely anymore on secondaries, right? We actually, like even in our business plan, like never planned to rely on that. So for us, it was no big surprise when that whole when that shift happened. So the next utility that we are launching is also made for a way to, is structured in a way that can generate revenue, not only from holders, but is interesting also for businesses, for projects, regardless of their, liquidity. And so for us, creating an alternative revenue stream was always like very important to continue forward. But even without that, the venture funds that we secured are...
There we go. That's always good to hear. It's always good to know, especially times like this. Like the unfortunate part about times like this, and I think people forget sometimes, is that there's going to be projects that go out of business because maybe they had their money on FTX, maybe they didn't,
Dude,
maybe they didn't have enough of their money into stable coins and things like that. And so, it's there's important lessons that come from times like this, but it's unfortunate in order to learn those lessons, there also have to be people that don't make it after times like this. And that's the unfortunate aspect of this. But glad to know you guys are going to be around for the foreseeable future.
Let's knock on wood.
Yes,
we definitely.
Yes. Always knock on wood. Always knock on wood. That's no bullshit. So,
speaking of, I have not given you your gift yet.
Oh shit, we got gifts.
Yes. So if we're talking about like knocking on wood and already about like traditions, there's a tradition, like no former Soviet is like going anywhere with like empty hands. So of course I brought you sweets from my childhood that I managed to find here.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Very cool.
So there's 3 gifts. It's a 3-part gift.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So this is grillage. Try that.
Oh, wait. You got to... Okay, how do I say that?
Grillage.
Oh, I'm never going to get that. Wait. Slow down.
Grillage.
Oh, God.
It's like grills and then yage.
Okay. Grillage.
Grillage, yes. There you go. After eating that, it's basically nuts with chocolate. After eating that, you will need Invisaligns because it's like hardcore. My grandma has like half of her tooth is like lost because she ate like too much of that grillage. So it's one of my favorite sweets. That's number 1.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to try that.
Sushki is...
Sushki?
Yeah.
There we go.
Mini sushki, that is basically like a snack. Like it's savory. It's like savory sweet, but you can eat it like on its own. Like you can dip it into tea. It's like one of my like most like comfort foods from my childhood.
Oh hell yeah! I'm excited to try this.
Yes.
This is very cool.
And third one is Alyonka.
Alunka?
Alyonka. Yes, Alyonka is this girl here. She's like the brand ambassador of this chocolate brand. What can I tell you? Like it's hella creepy. Like if you eat it, like and look at her every time. But if you ignore that, it's super like delish. So that's for you to try.
That's super cool.
So I'm giving Marc officially diabetes.
There we go. Hey, we said some people aren't going to make it through the bear, so maybe that's me. Knock on wood. Let me knock on wood. No, that's super cool, and I look forward to trying those. I would try them live on air, but I'm gonna get some shit in my teeth, and then people are gonna make fun of me on Twitter afterwards.
What if you lose a tooth?
Then they're gonna get drama token because I look like an idiot and they meme me. I can't give people that kind of ammunition. But no, that's super cool. One of my good buddies, his mom used to go to Germany a lot growing up, and so she would come back with German chocolate and a lot of like chocolate items that we couldn't get at the time. You couldn't get Kinder chocolate in the U.S.
Because of the whole thing,
the toy in
that can be swallowed.
Yes. And so she used to always sneak some back to us, and so we always used to be super excited whenever she would go over to Germany because we knew we were going to get some Kinder chocolate. And we
good to know.
Yeah. We used to always love like the toys that would come with them, and so now I know Kinder chocolate's readily available in the U.S. But it was like, growing up, I was like, man, I'm so looking forward to that Kinder chocolate, and I want to know what toy I'm getting with it. So thank you. No, I really appreciate that.
Of course.
And I'm gonna have to do a live tasting of it on Twitter and check that out for you guys. So
and be honest, always honest.
Oh, always honest. Yeah, I feel like anytime I'm always down to try anything from any other culture, but I'm gonna be bluntly honest to whether I like it or not. I'm always gonna be bluntly honest. So I have no doubt I'm gonna love the chocolate items. The middle one, I don't know how to. It almost looks essentially like a pretzel.
Sure,
but it doesn't taste anything.
It's harder, of course. Okay. Like everything is always like a little bit. What is it called? Everything that comes like from Ukraine, even sweets, is about suffering. So
Okay. So am I going to suffer after eating these? We'll see. We'll see. Man, like, yeah, you don't tell me one of these is actually a laxative, and then you're like, ha, Marc, drama token. I gave you a laxative.
I would be such a toxic person, but what can you expect?
Okay, so I want to talk about that. So we slightly brought that up at the beginning of the podcast, and then we kind of got further into what drama token is and whatnot. So one of my, I guess, like concerns about drama is that at times I feel like drama can go too far, right? Like the point of drama to me is like drama's funny when there's like a line that you toe, and then sometimes like you can go over that and it can get kind of awkward, right? And I think, you know, we see that from time to time on Twitter, where I think like there's certain times when I'm like, oh, that's very funny, and then there's other times where I'm like, ooh, that goes a touch too far. So, you know, how do you view drama with that? And like, how do you make it so that it doesn't cause people to like, you know, oh, well, I want to earn drama tokens, so I'm going to like go FUD this project and then like cause, you know, that's me causing drama, so therefore I should be receiving drama token for that. But it also inherently then pins your project versus that project. So how do you avoid situations like that? And how do you toe the line with drama there?
Social media and like the way that drama is even created is inherently controversial, and no drama goes without like somebody, somebody getting like not offended by it. Like there's always drama in even the creation of drama. If anything, if FTX and like Elon Musk being on Twitter and like the whole 2 weeks haven't shown us like anything, then it is that crypto Twitter drama is still like the funniest shit ever. And it will cross lines. We are not afraid to cross lines. We can only make progress and gain popularity and gain like the more exposure, the less afraid we are. However, being the ones that show also like where the lines are and like lead with a good example. So for example, not rewarding FUD, like really toxic FUD, like you described, with drama is in our clear rubrics of how we award drama. So, and we are like sharpening these rubrics like every week. We see either like pushback or we see like unpredictable like drama that we were like, okay, we did not know that is going to like cause a problem. So we're sharpening like this rubric, and only by, again, like breaking a couple eggs, like you can actually make an omelet. So the biggest companies in the world didn't get where they are by playing nice and playing safe all the time. And that is our strategy. I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's totally fair, and I do think, yeah, you can't be afraid to, say certain things, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, and like you guys have done, if there's times where it does go too far, you kind of go, hey, our bad, roll it back a little bit, more define the rubric, and then move forward from there. But yeah, I mean, that's all super factual. So, what do you guys feel like you have you pivoted in a way from your original roadmap after taking into consideration like everything that's happened and whatnot? Have you guys pivoted from your original roadmap, and in what ways?
We pivot like almost every couple of weeks after testing hypotheses, after testing like certain like we try to validate, like, is this true? Is this not true? Like, will this utility like be the big thing that we thought? Like, is this going to be exciting for holders, or did we just like make the wrong bet, or did we just like, it was an experiment and didn't work out? So yes, we started the project very differently to how it looks now. So we started with the premise of, okay, let's co-create lore together. Like, we give you the basis of like this. These are the teachers. This is what happens this week. The rest of the story is told by community. And thank God we tested that before mint, because what we realized is there is a tiny sliver of holders that are really interested in that, but it's so tiny and so, again, like self-indulgent, like ultimately, excuse my language, like a circle jerk, that that is not reaching the mass, and that is not attractive to non-holders to like partake in. So that was the original idea, like co-creation, like lore creation, and again, so creative, like what people came up with, but not big enough for us, and ultimately would not benefit the holders for us to like stick to that route. Then the second idea was, okay, let's pivot to people can do limited choices. They are not creating the full story. They are only deciding like where is the character arc going, like very limited choices. So they barely have to do anything, and they still can have like a say in the project, and they can just like mostly passively like lean back and relax and enjoy the content, because most of the holders are just like, they just want to be entertained. They don't want to be like the active entertainers. That's like our job. Realize that choices that are like, does a character go left and right? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. So the third iteration was, why do we keep this drama token, which we thought always as like kind of like the dessert? Why do we keep the dessert like away and not put like the best thing like forward first? And we got that advice in July, and started to build a drama bot that automatically rewards people for their shitposts, for their memes, and realized that like this is actually a way more interesting ecosystem that we're building here, because we're not only just like building an IP universe. No, we are building now a way for the very first time creators can be rewarded for their creations. That's an amazing way to find new creators in the space. Always keeps us in the community on the lookout, because when you reward somebody with drama, you also get a commission. So you have an incentive to like find constantly like new bangers, new underrated creators. The smaller, even the better. The more new coming, the better. And now for us, the job is to create more utilities that create based on the drama. You can exchange it now for like even more sophisticated memes, sophisticated content. And with AI, that is going to be possible for us to scale that up to, anybody that has drama partaking in that, and not taking a long time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how that plays out. One of the ideas that I had, and I wasn't sure if this was even something that was feasible, but I thought could be cool, is so if you guys were giving somebody drama for, somebody random on Twitter who's not a holder and whatnot, if there was a way for somebody to exchange a certain amount of drama for one of the NFTs, and that way that was their like onboarding process of like, hey, maybe you don't have enough Solana to go and buy one of the NFTs, but if you get a certain amount of the drama token and then you can take that and exchange that for one of the NFTs, it would also lower the supply of drama token, and then also would bring more people into the ecosystem, somebody who essentially like earned their way in. So I don't know if that's something that's even feasible, but I thought about that idea and I figured I'd run it past you.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. Now I have to like say it's a great idea, Marc. However, we would give drama a direct value with that.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Like, and so unfortunately that's not possible for us. However, what we are doing right now is raffles. So with 50 drama, you can buy a raffle ticket that, can win you an Outcast. So it's not a direct, like 50 drama is like one Outcast, like 200 drama is one Outcast. But with the raffle ticket, that's how we onboard right now currently.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I also want to get into the art for Outcast Academy, because I feel like the art is something where...
Okay, give it to
like,
me, sure.
I'll say my honest thoughts. To me, I look at it and I say, the art is... Okay, I'm going to sound rude when I say this.
Come on.
The art is ugly in a good way. And what I mean by that is like, there's a lot of times where I feel like projects they look at the art of like the top projects in Solana and ETH, and they go, okay, we're just going to directly copy what those people are doing, right? And that to me is never a way to stand out, because you go on Twitter sometimes and it's like that PFP is super similar to that PFP, and like I know you're not that original PFP, which means you're essentially just imitating that other collection, right? I'm not a fan of that. So I looked at Outcast Academy and I was like, this is actually brilliant, because this art is so ugly that it stands out, and that like... And it's not ugly in the sense of like, oh, this didn't require a lot of work to go into it. No, I 100% understand that it does. But I also look at like, and this is a controversial opinion, but I look at like the Mona Lisa and I'm like, that shit's ugly as fuck, in my opinion. That's just the way I view it. And so, but I'm like, but it stands out. So my whole thing is like, art that stands out is inherently going to resonate with more people, because you're going to remember it. And so I feel like the art that you guys have is something where people are going to be like, right now when like floor price is low, they're going to be like, oh, oh, that artist sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then, but if the floor price goes up to 20, 30 Solana,
They will love it.
Those same people are going to go, but this art is unique. It's different. It's not the everyday art that you see on Solana. So, so how did you guys approach the art with that? And like, was that a thought process you guys had when you were creating it?
Yes, we did not intend to make it ugly. And I still think like it's, sure, we are the only collection that has pimples as upgrades, and the art gets like prettier the more you upgrade. So like the legendaries are like legendary, and super cool. The commons are just like, we wanted to create a collection that actually represents how we all look in high school, which is like we're not the most attractive like motherfuckers in high school.
That's facts. I was real ugly.
You were.
Oh, for sure, dude. I was on Accutane for 6 years, so yeah. Oh yeah.
But look, Mark, like people that peaked in high school are like also super sus. Like
this is true. That is actually super facts. But all right, I didn't mean to derail the conversation. So yeah, go back into the art.
Yeah. So we wanted to like our brand is like not to be the cool kids on the block, like ever. That a lot of projects are attempting that and are way better at that. Our intention was with the art to like be just like funny and not self-serious, and our holders are totally vibing with that. So we attract also a very different kind of holder. We don't attract like the cool kids that just like want to look like super masculine, like better than their PFP. Like our holders usually like look better than their PFP. So and they're more inclined to upgrade it and like use that first utility, and have like better looking art when you like make the baseline like very, very basic. The art is hand drawn by an amazing uprising artist in Solana space called Shady Lady, and it was a lot of work to render and create hand drawn like over 200 attributes and like the bases that they all match up. So we took the hard route of making it like hand drawn, not making it like a derivative, and making it funny to like own one and actually represent the high school spirit.
Yeah, no, and to be honest, I love it. So I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that just because you're here. I've said that privately of like, I love the art because to me, it's unique. It stands out. It's something that like when I'm looking for art, like that's what I view good art as. Like if it blends in, then it doesn't do anything to like give anybody some sort of emotional feel to it. So to me, if like the art of an NFT project doesn't make you feel something, like I would rather somebody hate it and then just be okay with it, right?
And being different.
Yeah. So if you're either going to love it or you're going to absolutely hate it, but like that to me is almost kind of the beautiful part about like Liberty Square too, where I feel like most people at the beginning were like, fucking squirrels, like what? And then like as time went on, they were like, okay, actually I fuck with the squirrels, right?
Oh, people are hypocrites like in this space.
Super hypocritical.
But it's also like totally fine. Like to like, first hate something, but then you get like accustomed to it and you see it like more and you see more people representing that PFP and like becomes the new norm. So we didn't get rattled by like the comments. We actually got like more fired up that it created a conversation. We never wanted to create anything that is like lukewarm and everybody's and like indifferent about it and just like, oh, it's like a wet fart that comes out. You know?
That's facts. That's facts. So, okay, last few questions for you here. So what role, like as the project has progressed and everything like that, what role do you feel like you fill in the ecosystem? And is there something that you feel like you need to achieve in order for Outcast Academy to get to a certain level? What's your overall thoughts on the role a founder plays in the ecosystem?
The role of me as a founder or as Outcast, like specifically Outcast Academy?
The role of you.
Of me personally.
Yes. Like so your name is controversial and you go by Rare Bitch, right?
Sure.
And every time I always like hesitate because I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get canceled. I don't want somebody to think I'm calling you a bitch. But the name you go by on Twitter, Rare Bitch. Like to me, what do you view Rare Bitch's role in the ecosystem, if that makes sense?
Sure. I can of course tell you that it empowers me to have a name like that in an ecosystem that is predominantly, I'm often finding myself like in a room full of men in Twitter spaces. So like there is not a lot of female founders, unfortunately, like that are very like present in the Solana ecosystem, and are pushing projects forward that are let's say controversial, and are not afraid to like play with like the big boys, and like also rattle like a couple of people and like fluff some feathers. And that is just like me as a person. So my role is to inspire others to basically be fearless creators, ruffle feathers, and just create more drama and get rewarded for it, regardless of gender, regardless of, I don't know, what they're personally also going through. I think I understood my role much better when I got diagnosed with cancer, just like a month or like 1.5 months before mint.
Oh,
so, like,
that was that recent.
Yeah. So like, this is the result of that. I try to rock.
You gotta flip them out. There you go. There you go.
So like that is a side that I had to like get used to, you know, like the bald head. But I again felt like very empowered, like being, I guess, the only like bald female founder, right, that currently like exists in the space. Just not being rattled even by that, and just like pushing forward and showing that resilience, just like Solana shows resilience in times like the bear. So I represent as a founder, I hope I represent as a founder the same resilience, the same like degeneracy that Solana inherently is.
Yeah, no, and I just want to say, you know, I remember when we were setting up one of our first phone calls, and you said to me something about like I have to take the call from the hospital, and I was like, is everything good? And you were like, I'm going through chemotherapy. And I just want to say I have a lot of respect for the amount of strength it takes to go through chemotherapy, and then also to be doing everything that you're doing while going through all of that. So that was one of the things that stood out to me from the beginning, because I was like, I know that's not something easy to do. And so the fact that you're here, you're present in the space, you're doing like you're literally taking phone calls from your hospital bed. Like, I can't have more respect for somebody who does that. So
Marc, thank you. But I think it's like the responsibility you have as a founder. Like, also a company does not go like under when one founder like breaks away kind of, or like has a difficult time. Thankfully, we positioned ourselves like internally as a team, like so like solidly strong that even in days where I'm like totally knocked out, like it's still, everything works, and the ball keeps rolling. So yeah, I just like hope to inspire others, and also show that this is like the new norm for like work ethic. Like I don't know. I had the decision when I got the diagnosis in like late July. It was also a month before the wedding, before Elon and I like, you know, had our wedding ceremony. Like, we could have made the decision of like, okay, this is a sign, like it's a bear market anyways, like let's just end it, right? Like, nobody would have been mad at us, right? Like, everybody would be like super understanding. But after 2 days like sitting on it, I like was very clear with myself and clear with Elon, clear with the team that this is just like firing me up even more to be even like more going like even further. Like, we wanted to entertain like Solana, no, we're entertaining now ETH and beyond. We wanted to stay on Twitter, no, we're going like now beyond, because once you're like in a moment where you think like time is running out, you're like getting like even more ruthless. Thankfully time is not running out. Like, I'll survive this shit. I actually got like good news. It's all going away. I'll be hopefully cured the next time we speak. Everything's gonna be good, and I'll get like my lush curls back. But for the time being, it was like, I have to achieve, and we have to like achieve, and for our holders and for the entertainment's sake, we just gotta go harder.
Yeah, no, I once again, I have the utmost respect for you, and I also appreciate that you it's not like you've used this as like something where it's like, woe is me, feel bad for me, you should support our project because of what I'm going through. I feel like you never talk about it ever, where I'm like, dude, people should know what you're going through on a daily basis and still running your project, because I just think it's something that people should like have immense respect for because you deserve it. And so once again, very glad that you have a good diagnosis, and that yes, I'm very much looking forward to the next episode where you can come on here and we can completely say you've kicked cancer's ass. So looking forward to that moment. But okay, so to wrap it up, I want to ask you, for people who are holders or somebody who's looking to buy into Outcast Academy, here's your opportunity to talk about the future of Outcast Academy. Is there any alpha you can drop? But basically, speak to your holders.
To the non-holders yet, right?
Speak to everybody. Speak to the holders, speak to the non-holders, speak to everybody. Let them know why should they be bullish on Outcast Academy.
What you're currently seeing in Outcast Academy with the IP universe as it currently stands is just the beginning. Imagine what we can do with drama when the premise is to not only shitpost to earn and entertain to earn drama, but just, Marc taking a photo. So the premise imagine what you can do with drama. Drama, as we currently have set it up, is an ecosystem that rewards shitposted words creators. But now imagine your meme can become a blockbuster. Now you can turn drama into manifesting high quality content. So in the next couple of weeks, we are rolling out a utility that is optimized for virality on Twitter, that is optimized to specifically jump on really relevant topics and always giving entertaining commentary. So if you want to be part of an entertainment project that has ambitions to bring over the mainstream to crypto with entertainment being like degenerate, funny, and non-apologetic at all times, this is like Outcast Academy, and that's the vibe.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for the future of Outcast Academy. I've always thought it's super cool the way you guys have approached things, the fact that you guys are doing things that are different, because I feel like there's too many times I but see projects on Twitter, and it's like, man, it's the same cookie cutter bullshit that so many other projects have done. And so I like that you guys are pushing the envelope and doing something different. And so I'm very much looking forward to the future of Outcast Academy. But for people who want to connect with you, can you drop your socials? Where can people find you?
Sure. Outcast_Academy. I'm just like rarebitch.soul. You can send me your Bitcoin, your love letters also in Bitcoin or in Ethereum, also to rarebitch.eth or rarebitch.soul. I bought it all. That was the best ENS investment ever.
There we go. Yeah, I just got markholcer.soul, markholcer.eth. But, hey, feel free to send me some while you're at it too. But with that, no, this has been really fun. It's been cool to get to know you more and get to know Outcast Academy more. So looking forward to the future of Outcast Academy. And yeah, appreciate everybody for listening. So
same here, Marc. Great to be here. Thank you for recording this.
No problem. Thank you for the lovely gifts. I'm excited to try those out. I promise I will give an very honest review of them. I think they're going to be amazing. But yeah, appreciate that. Thank you for coming on today.
Of course.
And appreciate you guys for listening. So see you guys.
Bye.